Hello and welcome to episode number 269 of the Launch Lounge podcast. In today's episode, you'll discover exactly how to tell if your launch is truly ready to go evergreen so that you can create consistent, predictable income without the drama of the constant live launches. So stay tuned. Hello, my friends. It's lovely to be here with you. I'm recording this on Tuesday, the 6th of May. We've just come back from a long weekend away. My daughter is in year 6, and year 6 is the last year of primary school. So next year she head to high school. And every year in year 6, all the families go camping. We went to a beautiful farm stay in northern New South Wales. It was a little bit wet and rainy. So I'm really glad I booked that cabin because Mama doesn't do camping, and Mama specifically doesn't do camping in rain. So we're still washing out the smoke smell out of everything. But I am glad that I was dry, and I had a ball watching my kids play with the chickens and the llamas and the bunnies and the pigs and collect eggs. It was just fabulous. I also want to give a huge shout out today to Anthony Whitaker from growmysalonbusiness.com. Anthony sent me the most delightful, beautiful, incredibly heartwarming gratitude message to just let me know that he learns a lot from this podcast and that him and his wife are regular listeners and they can't wait to work with us and they learn a lot. And I just want to say to Anthony, look, man, very few people will take the time to sit down and write a beautiful message like that. And in the 10 years that I've done this, I've had a handful of messages like this, and it just warms my heart. And I just want to give a huge shout out to Anthony and say thank you very much. And I want to let you know that you can email me anytime at podcast@thelaunchlOunge.com. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you want to hear on the podcast, and I want to hear what your biggest challenges are as it pertains to building your online courses business or launching your courses or marketing your courses, because deep down in my heart, the real reason I get up in the morning and I come to work, like I said, I walk the 3 steps from my kitchen to my office, is because I know that there are so many of you out there doing such incredible things. And you have such amazing, wonderful messages that needs to reach more people. And it is my absolute joy, my privilege, my honor. This thing found me, and I'm so happy that I'm good at it and that I can help other people make an impact in the world. And I get so much joy from reading your testimonials. It fills my heart with gladness. Fills my heart with gladness. There you go. All right. So today we are going to talk about whether or not your launch is ready for Evergreen. And I am going to go through a few different things that you need to pay attention to in order to know if your live launch is ready to go Evergreen. And of course, the first thing you're going to need when you're asking yourself if this is ready for Evergreen is you're going to need to have some kind of data, right? You're going to need to have something recorded in a spreadsheet that can tell us yes or no, this thing isn't ready. So if I'm going to give you the 3,000-foot overview of how you can know that your course is ready, the first thing is it has to be profitable. Like, you have to have run it at a profit. And if you have one profitable launch, look, what's the expression? One swallow doesn't make a summer, right? One is not enough. We need more than one big live launch that is profitable to be able to say, yes, maybe we are looking at a potential evergreen funnel here. The second thing is, the second 3,000-foot thing that I want you to understand is there's a very, very, very big difference between marketing to warm audiences and marketing to cold audiences. And if you are going to choose to take your launch evergreen, You have to have had enough evidence that when you launch to cold traffic or cold audiences, your launch still converts. I've tried many, many, many tiers of people who built incredible audiences organically, launched a few times organically, profitably, and then want to go evergreen, and suddenly they're speaking to people who've never heard of them, who doesn't even know they exist, and they're interrupting them with an ad, and they expect them to behave the same way that the warm traffic behaves. And the truth is, we just don't. Cold traffic requires an advanced understanding of speaking to their pain and their desire. It requires an advanced skill of conversion copywriting. It requires an advanced skill of influencing people and moving people along the journey from where they first meet you to where they're ready to buy. And if you've had one or two organic launches and you want to add a bunch of cold traffic very quickly, you're going to lose conversions. That just happens. That is normal. That is a natural, normal occurrence. It's like almost like I want to say it's a law of nature, if there could be laws of nature in digital marketing, right? But so that's the 3,000 foot. That's the quick and dirty, right? But let me break it for you down a little bit further. The first thing is you're going to need evidence, not suspicion, evidence, actual evidence recorded on a spreadsheet that your offer converts. That means when people attend your webinar, they buy. That means your sales page converts. That means your email sequence that gets them to show up to the webinar works. It means that after the webinar is done, that email sequence, your bonuses, your open cart period, like that is converting like crazy. And you have to have evidence of that recorded on a sheet, right? So how do you do this? It's very simple. You make a list on a sheet or a Google Doc of all the numbers that possibly could move someone closer to a sale, and you track that in your launch, okay? So this evidence comes from successfully running your live launch multiple times. Soon I'll be playing you guys an interview that I just recorded with my client, Laura Furiosi. Of the Divorce Course podcast. And she, when she came to me, she had a spreadsheet. She laughs at her spreadsheet, but I was so happy when she showed me her spreadsheet, because she's got about 3 years of launch data recorded on a spreadsheet that just makes me very happy. I get very happy about spreadsheets. The second thing is, when we talk about tracking your numbers, there are specific numbers that are more important than others, right? So start by just writing down all the numbers that if someone opens an email, that moves them closer. So record that. But here are some of the specific numbers that I want you to pay attention to, specifically if it's a webinar, but these numbers also work for video series launches, and we can apply the same principle to challenges or boot camps or however you choose to launch. But I'm going to speak specifically here to webinars, because I know most of you are working with webinars. So the first thing is, your webinars show up right. You want that to be somewhere between 10% and 25%. If it's more than that, brilliant. If it's less than 10%, you cannot go evergreen yet, right? Because not enough people will show up to your webinar. I want you to pay attention to your webinar to sales page click-through rate. Salome, what on earth is that? That is a mouthful. Basically, that means all of the people who were on your webinar, out of those that were on your webinar, how many of them clicked to your sales page? And the way that you can work that out is you can see you use your Google Analytics or your Kajabi Analytics or whatever landing page software you build. You, on the day when you do the webinar, you go instantly after the webinar and you see how many people have been to that webinar. What's the number? I mean, not the webinar, the sales page. How many people have been on that sales page? And then it's the equation is that number over the number of people who are on the webinar, and that gives you a percentage. And you have to have a significant percentage of webinar attendees that actually click through to your sales page. The next important number is your sales page conversion rate, right? And you can split those in terms of webinar attendees or non-attendees if you want to go even deeper. But for a warm launch, I want you to aim for your sales page overall to convert at about 5%. So that means if you think about this in terms of numbers, 5% of the people who make it all the way down to the bottom of your funnel where they get to see your sales page, if 5% of them buy, you're doing well. So let that inform you how big the number should be of people who enter your funnels, right? Of people who come into your launch. So don't slack on a list building and audience building, all right? But note that when you're adding cold traffic into an evergreen funnel, you're now selling to cold people. And so your conversion rate on your sales page might drop to 1% to 2%, and that's okay. The other number I want you to pay attention to is email open and click through rates. Track if people are actually opening and clicking on your sales emails, on your webinar show up sequence, and on the emails you send them to invite them to sign up for the webinar. Aim to get at least 20 to 25 or 30% open rate, and a 1% to 2% click rate would be good. If you get more than that, great. I know a lot of you do. And if you're getting less than that, you need to probably split test some subject lines to increase that open rate, or maybe clean your email list a bit.
If you're ready to start scaling your business, get back your time, and step into your freedom empire, listen up. I'm excited to share that we've got just 2 spots opening up in our VIP client level in May. We're taking on 2 new course creators in the Launch Lounge marketing and ads agency during May. And honestly, we are pretty pumped about what we're offering. Here's the deal. We don't just run your ads. We're your go-to growth partners who look at your whole marketing picture. The best part? We've built some really cool AI tools that our clients are loving. These tools help spruce up your launch copy so it actually connects with your audience. They make your webinar content way more engaging, and they spot those missed opportunities in your sales process so you can turn more viewers into buyers during your launches. Our clients tell us they're finally getting off that exhausting launch roller coaster. They're seeing sales come in consistently and getting back precious time with their families. If you're already making at least $100K per year, have an offer that people love, and you're committed to doing the work to scale, we should definitely chat. You've built something awesome. Now let us help you grow it without the stress. Just head over to thelaunchlounge.com/agency and apply. But don't wait too long. Those 2 spots won't hang around.
All right. Now, let's talk about the profitability before we talk about going evergreen. You need to have confidence that your funnels work and that they can generate profitable return on ad spend. We call it ROAS, return on ad spend. So you've done your live launch 3, 4, 5, 6 times, right? You have optimized each one of these little levers that you can pull. You've tracked your people are opening your email, they're coming to your webinar, they're showing up for your webinar, they're buying when they're on the webinar, people are showing up, everything is working well. And now you start running ads for your live launch. Now, at this point in time, what I want you to do is I want you to have 2 separate landing pages, one for your organic traffic and one for your paid traffic. And the paid traffic page has to have its own form that connects with your CRM, that has a tag where you can identify it as a paid lead, right? Because what we want to look at is we want to be able to, at the end of your launch, go, how many of the people that came into your funnel were organic traffic? In other words, they came from your warm audiences. They've already been on your list. They've been following you on social media. And how many of the people that came into your launch were from paid traffic? Because we can't just go from super warm traffic to completely cold traffic without absolutely annihilating our funnels, right? We kind of have to add the warm traffic in a little bit incrementally. So we want to have an ad budget that we allocate to webinar ads or even to list building ads prior to our launch, right? In that runway period, we want to run some list building ads and make sure that we flood our list with new leads who are going to be, have recently joined our email list. They're still hot, they're still engaged, they're still excited, and then invite them to our webinar. But we want to make sure we know each and every person who joins our email list that came from a paid ad. There has to be a way to identify that. And the easiest way to identify that is to just duplicate your landing page, give your paid page a unique form so that you can add a tag to those people. Just the tag can just be source paid. That's all. That's what I do. Source paid. And then at the end of your launch, you can pull your email list of all the people who bought your course and filter them and see what percentage of the people who ended up buying your course started from a paid ad and what percentage didn't start from a paid ad. When you look at that result and you see majority of your buyers were still from your organic sources, then your paid traffic isn't converting yet. Then you need to send out a survey to everyone on that paid list, everyone who came from paid traffic, and survey them, ask them, why didn't you buy? You recently signed up for this launch. We would like to improve our offers to our students. I'm curious, can you tell me what's the reason you chose not to invest in this program at this point in time, right? It's a super simple survey that you can send out because you have to figure out what is it in your messaging or in your offer that is not yet connecting with with a cold audience, right? Because if you want to go evergreen, you're going to rely on ads entirely. So you have to know that your ads are converting. Now, if you pull that email list at the end of your launch and you see most of the buyers actually, or even if half of the buyers came from paid traffic originally, then you're onto something, right? Now you're onto something. So for evergreen funnels targeting cold traffic, I want you to make sure your return on ad spend is about 3 or more. And what that means is we take the amount of money that we spent on ads and we work out how much money did we make back for the money that we spent, right? So it's revenue over ad spend is the equation for ROAS, revenue over ad spend. And that gives you a number. And if that number is 2, that means for every dollar you spent, you made $2. Now that's not a bad outcome, right? If I told you I had a vending machine that you can put $1 in and it's going to spit out $2, how many of your dollars would you put in? All of them, duh. However, we don't want to go evergreen on a funnel whose ROAS is 2 because ads fluctuate. And so if you're sitting on a 2 ROAS, that means maybe next week you have a 0 ROAS, and then you have 1, and then 2, and then 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 0. So that makes me anxious. But if your ROAS is higher than 3 in this launch where you have predominantly paid traffic, predominantly cold traffic, that's an indication that your funnel is starting to become ready to evergreen. So running live launches first allows you to see how much money was generated from your organic content, your energy, your time, versus how much money was spent from your ads. And the more you can get that balance to tip in favor of the ads, the more of your energy you're going to get back, the more of your time you're going to get back, and the more you're going to have evidence that your live launch is ready to evergreen. Now, a quick note about having confidence in your cold traffic conversion. When you go straight to evergreen, there's a significant money gamble. Unless you're super confident that complete strangers will resonate with your message and that your offer will convert to cold traffic. Now, if you're an experienced marketer and you're a conversion copywriter and you know how to make hot offers, that might be you. But if you're not, then you need to follow these steps to make sure. This confidence is built by refining your messaging and your offer during these live launches and with your warm audiences first. Essentially, live launching multiple times allows you to hear your audience pain points and their desires and their objections and hear it in their own words, because that's important. It allows you to fine tune your sales message and your conversion mechanism, your webinar, your sales page, your emails, the stuff that we use that actually makes the sale. It allows you to gather the necessary data on conversion rates at each step of your funnel. And it allows you to understand which part of your strategy, organic versus paid, are mostly driving the results. And once you have successfully launched live enough times that you can confidently say that these key numbers are consistent and converting each time you launch, you have the evidence needed to confidently turn your live launch into an evergreen funnel that you can scale. And at that point, you give me a call, because that's where I kick into gear and I scale it to the moon for you. But without this learning phase, skipping straight to evergreen risks wasting a lot of money and turning you into one of those creepy salespeople selling things to strangers that have absolutely no evidence that these strangers will respond to your message. So there you have it, your complete roadmap to determine if your launch is truly ready for evergreen. Remember, going evergreen isn't about escaping the work of live launching. It's about systematizing strategically what's already working so you can scale it without burning out. And at the time when your launch does go to evergreen, I'm just going to tell you, now you're going to add some new offers to it. So you're not about to sit on the beach sipping pina coladas, although I'll allow you to do that for a couple of weeks. If you check all the boxes we discussed today, your offer consistently converts, you have clear data on your audience temperature, your numbers are solid from the webinar attendees and the sales page conversion rates, and you run enough live launches to truly understand what makes your ideal customer buy, then congratulations. You're ready to start building that evergreen dream. But if you're still figuring things out, please don't be discouraged. Every live launch you do is getting you one step closer to that evergreen success. The data and insights you gather now will make your eventual evergreen funnel so much stronger. And remember, even the most successful evergreen funnels still need maintenance and optimization. The advantage of doing more live launches before going evergreen is that you'll develop the skills to troubleshoot when things inevitably need adjusting. I'd love to hear where you are at in your evergreen journey. Are you getting ready to make the switch or still fine-tuning your live launches? Send me an email at podcast@thelaunchlounge.com and let me know. Have a lovely day. Take care. Bye.
Before you go, if today's episode helped you, imagine how many more lives could be transformed if other creators, coaches, and experts found these strategies too. Your shares and reviews help more course creators discover how to get their knowledge out into the world. Please take a moment to rate the show and leave a quick review. When you do, we get to reach more people and we make a bigger impact together. Because when more people who help people succeed, the world becomes a better place. Thank you.